Where is Zach? That's the question. Where is Zach? Zach's at a conference. He's doing the CEO thing, right? And that's the cool thing, is that it's not just a matter of raising money. He's actually gotten to the point where you get to go and build a company. And so he's in the middle of building a company, and I'm not, because I'm chair of the board and, first money in. So you get me, because apparently this is how I get my emotional needs met. That's fine. But yeah, let's talk a little bit today about what that transition from being in the middle of the company, where I say, are you building a company that depends on you, or are you building a company you can depend on? And a lot of the times when you're building an entrepreneurial, business, you are a hero, and you go in and you take control of everything, and that you're the center of the spoke, and you've got you're the axle with all the spokes are going into it, and you're this wheel, and it's great. And you feel really good until you don't, because eventually you get to the point where you feel like, oh, I'm just pulling this company up this mountain behind me. Can I please get help? And the thing is that the reason you can't get help is that you've gotten so accustomed to holding the rope attached to that boulder, which is the company you're pulling up the hill, that no one else can get their hands on it and help you out. And the skill is, how do you hand that rope off? How do you change what that rope looks like so that more people can help pull it without that boulder rolling back down the mountain? Yeah, that's a pretty good metaphor. That's pretty neat. So the way I did it with my company is I just threw the rope at somebody, and they went like, ah! And I literally said, I respect you so much in your entrepreneur journey. I want you to create what you want. And I left. Like, I didn't help. It was horrible. I completely did it wrong. I've since gotten much better at that, by the way. So yeah, throwing the rope at somebody means that while your hand's not on it, and while their hands aren't on it, the boulder begins to roll back down the hill. And they grab the rope, and then they pull, and it looks like they're doing a bad job, because they're dealing with the momentum of your ineffective and inefficient transition, right? And who's to blame? The CEO who you've hired to take over your company, or the president that you're delegating to, or you who didn't do the transition very well, right? And so this is why when you're buying a company, or you're, looking to build out a new C-suite or something like that, finding that number two person. Who's that person who kind of already has a hand on the rope already and understands what it looks like and can really reduce the drag of that boulder rolling down the hill? And you have as short a stop as possible, short of path as possible for when they get dragged back down the hill. If you don't have that, then you should be worried. Or let me rephrase that. You should be cautious. Without a person who can step in and replace you immediately, don't move fast. Your first rule should be do no harm. Your first rule should be, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to realize I'm in for a long haul, and I'm going to take, anywhere from 6 months to 18 months to 24 months to really carefully begin to change how the company is led. And if you're an entrepreneur like I was, I like speed. I like doing stuff. Move fast, break things, right? We've heard of all that. Don't do that. Don't do that. The thing is, this should be a methodical journey. So, you know what? Why don't I show you what a methodical journey looks like? All right. I think I'll share my screen. I can do that because this is Zoom. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, wait. This is a podcast. You might not be able to see this. I'm a silly person. Okay. Let me walk you through it then. For those of you who want to hear things in their ears as opposed to seeing things on the screen. What you need to do is go through a self-assessment. If you go to my LinkedIn page or my LinkedIn profile, one of my first videos, there's a 4-minute video that says, this is how you do a self-assessment on yourself. Because before you look at your company, you need to understand where you fit in. And so there's two realities. There's the literal, objective reality of how your business is operating. Is it producing the results? Is it, are all the systems functioning? Are you filing your taxes? Are you getting all that stuff is observable. Then you have the subjective side of the house. How do you feel about how things are going? How do I feel about how I'm in the middle of all that, right? And so the assessment process needs to do two things. First, it needs to give you the freedom to be subjective and put a little bit of your emotion into the assessment. And the second thing is it has to be detailed enough for you to actually get value from an objective point of view. So that's where you start. You start with that kind of an assessment. Again, reach out to me, hit my LinkedIn, slide into my LinkedIn DMs and we will have a chat. And you go through that process and then you're able to see, what do I need to fix? Where are the friction points that are slowing me down? So if you think about handing the rope to somebody, maybe the right answer is say, hey, before I hand this rope to you, why don't you get another rope, tie it to the rope that I'm holding, and then you start pulling it with me. So you're still holding it, but now you have a leader who's pulling the rope with you with their own rope. And you get enough of those leaders, you will probably be able to let that rope down without any impact. As a matter of fact, if they tie the ropes the right way, when you put your rope down, they're going to be able to pull that company up that mountain so much faster without you in the way, because right now you're standing in front of the boulder and the boulder can only go as fast as you can move. And that's great, but no matter how amazing you are, you're going to be the limiting factor on your company's growth until you get really good at building teams. And you can't get good at building teams if you constantly set people up to fail. So this assessment is all about step 1 through step whatever to figure out what executives do I need to hire? What key roles do I need to fill? If I don't have enough money to hire people, what do I need to do to increase profits? I didn't say revenue, I said profits, so that I can afford the help that I need. If you sit there and you guess like I did, I hemorrhaged a lot of money. I spent money on things that I didn't need. I spent money on things that didn't work. I think I spent $300,000 a year, and annually, I guess that's what a year stands for, trying to fix my VP of sales problem. And I did that 5 years in a row. I could never figure it out for my first company. Again, we've gotten better at that stuff. But hey, and I was late 20s, early 30s. I give myself some grace and make some mistakes. But yeah, that's the idea here. So this mini episode of TSOB says, we're here trying to help entrepreneurs who want to make a transition to venture capital. And we're trying to do that by showing the give and take between Zach and myself on our relations. And I think you can hear over the last couple of episodes, this stuff can get hard and we get a little, but I really did want to get back into that other side of the house, which is in order for you to have the bandwidth to move from I'm an entrepreneur who is obsessed with running this company to I have a company that produces results that allows me the freedom to go explore capital allocation, you have to go through this process. You really have to understand what it's going to take and what that journey looks like and how much it's going to cost and who you're going to need to hire in order to give yourself the freedom that you want. If you're going to come over here to this side of the house and explore capital allocations, venture capital, private equity, and by the way, it doesn't have to be all the way, right? You don't have to replace yourself on all of the ropes. You don't ever have to put the rope down, right? If you're comfortable with what you're doing and where you're going, yeah, you can get a lot of free time by doing a couple key things, and maybe that's good enough. For me, I love the idea of an asset that produces results that I can still be a wildly huge, big fan of, and I can participate however I want, whenever I want, versus, I still have some handcuffs and I still have to be there. But that's, again, my own perspective. You're your own entrepreneur. You do it your own dang way. But yeah, I think that's quite enough. I think I've sprinkled all of the wisdom that's required today. I should have a catchphrase. Cha! No, wait, that's Lightning McQueen. Hey, if you got any suggestions for a catchphrase, just hit me up on LinkedIn. Actually, that's probably a bad idea. Just private mesh. Don't like post anything and tag me in it. No, don't. I said don't tag me in things. Oh, you guys. Have a wonderful day. See ya.